Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Apa khabar semua? Alhamdulillah, hari ini merupakan hari yang ke-27 kita berada dalam bulan yang mulia ini, iaitu bulan Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, dengan izin Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala juga kita sempat bersama pada malam ini untuk satu sesi yang sangat istimewa, di mana saya dapat menjemput dua orang sahabat saya daripada UK ataupun daripada Newcastle untuk bersama dengan kita untuk berkongsikan mengenai situasi ataupun cabaran mereka sebagai minoriti di negara majoriti non-Muslim. Dan di antara topik-topik yang akan dibentangkan ialah seperti masalah Islamophobia yang berlaku di dunia barat dan bagaimana mereka mengatasinya dengan membantu daripada segi menyampaikan mesej Islam dan juga menghapuskan ataupun orang kata tu clearing the misconceptions. Jadi insya-Allah dua orang sahabat saya ini, subhanallah, mereka sangat aktif dalam kerja-kerja dakwah, terutama sekali dalam menyampaikan Islam kepada masyarakat di UK, dan insya-Allah hari ini kita akan dengar daripada mereka sendiri bagaimana mereka telah berjaya untuk membawa mesej yang positif tentang agama yang kita cintai, iaitu Islam. Dan kepada semua yang sedang menonton, saya sangat-sangat menggalakkan untuk sama-samalah kita share video ini. Semoga orang lain juga boleh mendapat manfaat daripada perkongsian ini. Dan perkongsian ini akan dalam bahasa BI ataupun bahasa Inggeris insya-Allah. Jadi sampaikanlah ataupun sharelah di page-page anda. Mudah-mudahan ada sahabat-sahabat kita yang lebih mudah untuk faham Inggeris dapat dapat juga memanfaatkan video yang apa yang kita nak kongsikan pada malam ini insya-Allah. Dan jangan lupa kalau sekiranya ada soalan, bolehlah tinggalkan di ruang komen, dan saya nak tahu juga anda sedang menonton daripada mana dan adakah suara saya jelas dan macam mana, skrin okey ke? Jadi bolehlah sila tinggalkan di ruang komen insya-Allah. Nama saya Fadhli Burhan. Alhamdulillah, saya bekerja dengan iEra, satu badan organisasi yang berpusat di London, dan saya bersama tim saya banyak melakukan kerja-kerja dakwah di seluruh dunia, di mana kita membuka peluang-peluang dakwah baru di luar negara. Dan biasanya apa yang kami anjurkan ialah kita tidak hanya berhenti daripada apabila kita lepas dakwah tu orang kata dapat syahadah lepas tu berhenti di situ. Tetapi tidak, kita tetap teruskan dengan menguruskan saudara-saudara baru yang telah saja syahadat. Dan alhamdulillah, dengan izin Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, dengan pertolongan Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, lebih daripada 5,000 orang telah memeluk Islam daripada tim-tim kami seluruh dunia dengan izin Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Itu sebagai satu perkongsian, bukanlah satu untuk nak saya kata gitu heboh-hebohkan, tetapi hanyalah untuk memberi kita sedikit motivasi dan inspirasi insya-Allah, supaya mudah-mudahan kita boleh mendapat satu maklumat yang penting, iaitu meneruskan misi ataupun visi Nabi Muhammad SAW, yakni untuk menyampaikan Islam kepada orang-orang yang bukan Islam, insya-Allah. Baik, sekali lagi saya seru, silalah share dan tinggalkan komen di ruang soalan anda di ruang komen, dan jangan lupa sepanjang sesi ini bolehlah anda tanyakan sembarang soalan insya-Allah. Okey, baik. Saya nak terus menjemput sahabat saya, iaitu Abu Tayeb dahulu, sebelum kita tunggu Richard Coupland untuk hadir, iaitu Richard Coupland. Abu Tayeb merupakan ketua bagi iEra di Eropah, dan beliau juga merupakan trustee di Islamic Diversity Center yang berpusat di Newcastle. Dan beliau juga masya-Allah sangat aktif dalam mengajar banyak para pendakwah di Eropah dalam teknik bagaimana nak menyampaikan Islam. Dan kita tahu dekat iEra mempunyai satu teknik yang mudah untuk kita gunakan, iaitu teknik GoRap, yang di mana adiknya sendiri iaitu Sohail merupakan ketua bagi pelajaran untuk setiap duat yang terlibat dengan iEra ataupun mereka yang menjadi sukarelawan dalam iEra juga. Jadi insya-Allah kita akan kongsikan pada malam ini beberapa cara bagaimana kita nak mengatasi masalah Islamophobia apabila kita tu sekiranya kita mempunyai pengalaman ataupun kita berjumpa dengan situasi berikut insya-Allah. Baik, saya akan terus jemput saudara Abu Tayeb untuk hadir bersama insya-Allah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Brother Fadhli, how are you, bro?
I am doing good, alhamdulillah. I'm even better when I get to see you, subhanallah. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, you can see the sun is shining. We are busy with da'wah. Alhamdulillah, happy days.
Mashallah, you look, all the nur is coming out now. Mashallah.
Mashallah, mashallah.
Allahu Akbar. So, my brother Abu Tayeb, how's
Yeah.
the situation of the lockdown in UK right now?
Well, as you know, the UK is under lockdown. It is we have quite a high death toll, actually. A lot of people being affected by this coronavirus. And really the government is starting to ease the lockdown a little bit more as well. But alhamdulillah, you know, the da'wah still doesn't stop. You know, whether there's a coronavirus, a pandemic, an endemic, you know, whatever the situation might be, the da'wah still has to continue.
100%. I totally agree with you, brother Abu Tayeb. Mashallah. As we know, UK is one of the countries that is badly affected by this COVID-19. So tell me a little bit more. How did you do, or you and your team manage to continue the da'wah despite the lockdown?
Yeah, so basically what we decided to do was we move a lot of our da'wah to the online sphere to make sure that a lot of people are going to be at home, a lot are going to be around the world are going to be in lockdown. So we decided that we're going to move the rules of engagement, if you like, move the activities to an online sphere. And what that will do is, especially when people at home and asking the questions about, you know, they'll be asking, am I going to be safe from this? Is this going to affect me? Am I going to be one of those people who are part of the death toll? Another statistic. People are going to start questioning their lives and start asking the questions that they maybe wouldn't be asking in their very distracted lifestyles. So it's a good opportunity for us to present the message of Islam and answer those questions, because I genuinely believe that Islam has the answer to those questions.
I agree 100%, brother Abu Tayeb. What you're saying, that, you know, somehow this pandemic has, mashallah, by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it has somehow opened up their fitrah, in where they have come to a realization where they contemplate and reflect that, you know, there is something, there is another superpower that is able to control everything in this world. So using this as an advantage from our side, from the da'wah perspective, subhanallah, I think this is a good opportunity right now for us to convey the message of Islam.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things is, even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, I believe it's in Surah Al-Isra, if I'm not mistaken, death is a very powerful tool. Reminder of death is a very powerful tool for people to reassess their lives and understand their purpose in life. So in Surah Al-Isra, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm going to paraphrase, mentions that you know, when the mushrikeen, they're on a ship and a storm comes to them and they don't have anybody else to turn to, they will ask Allah to help them in that particular instance. And then when they come back to shore, they will then go back to being disbelievers and not having the shukr of Allah for saving them from that situation. But at that moment in time, they're thinking. At that moment in time, they're thinking about those, you know, who else can help me? None of the idols, none of the humanity, no creation can help them apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that moment in time. And this is a good opportunity to use that analogy and example when people are genuinely scared, genuinely thinking about their own lives, an opportunity to give them the purpose of life, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it very clear and gives us the whole blueprint in his glorious book, the Quran al-Kareem. وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create human beings and the jinn except to worship me alone. So this is the universal purpose of life, that every single human being on this planet, regardless whether they're black, white, male, female, old, young, regardless of their background, every single person can fulfill that universal purpose of life to worship their creator, recognize their creator, worship their creator, and show gratitude to their creator.
Amazing, amazing. That, I believe, is a very powerful verse in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yeah, it's a straight commandment telling us that, you know, every single one was born with a purpose. And ultimately our purpose is to return back to our creator. And subhanallah, we use this a lot in our da'wah, yeah, where we want to explain about, you know, sometimes people are confused. They thought that, you know, their life is just based upon work, sleep, rest, family, money, that's it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inform us through the glorious Quran, subhanallah, we have a greater purpose, in fact. So subhanallah, brother Abu Tayeb, maybe you want to give a shout out now to all the Malay communities or the Malay speaking people who are watching live now with us.
A shout out?
A shout out, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things is we have quite a significant Malaysian community here in Newcastle. And of course, Newcastle is the best city in the UK. I have to make that clear. So whenever you come to the UK, forget about London, forget about Birmingham, forget about Manchester. You got to come and visit us in Newcastle. That's the first thing, all right? We have a wonderful, wonderful Malaysian community in Newcastle. And all of my experiences and all of my dealings with the Malaysian community has always been positive. One of the most well-mannered, best charactered people that I've ever met have been from the Malaysian community, and they're proud of their Islam as well. That's one of the most beautiful things that I have to say about the Malay community from my experiences. Maybe it's just the ones that come to Newcastle, I don't know, but from my experiences, they have been a wonderful, wonderful group of people to interact with.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair for your kind praises for the Malay community, mashallah. And I believe there is a lot of Malaysians who are studying right now in the UK. And I also come across that there was one sister, I believe she was from Indonesia, yeah? She's from Indonesia. She happened to be part of Islamic Diversity Center when she was living in Newcastle. And she contacted us about 6 years ago, and she was telling us that, can I be part of your organization when I come back to Indonesia? So subhanallah, I believe you guys have been doing, mashallah, a great job up there until people get motivated to continue the work. Subhanallah.
Well, one of the beautiful things about the Islamic Diversity Center is it's in the name, diversity, right? And our volunteers, we may have, at one point we had almost 75 volunteers. Because we cover quite a large geographical area, the whole Northeast. And one of the beautiful things about our volunteers is they are very diverse. We let everybody come in. We've got such a ethnically diverse set of volunteers from literally all corners of the earth, every single part, whoever come to Newcastle, and they've got a passion for the dawah, they've got izzah for the deen. We'll bring them up, we'll train them, we'll get them involved in projects. We'll get them on the front line if they need to be on the front line, and they will be doing dawah as well. So yeah, we still have many people from Indonesia, Malaysia who are volunteering for us, and they do an amazing job. MashaAllah, tabarakallah.
Alhamdulillah, Brother Abu Tayeb, we have a questioner here from this brother, I think from ODCR. This mashallah, This person, he or she is a regular who always like to tune into our live shows. Yeah, so. Good. So her question is, how many Muslims in UK roughly, and is there any increase or decrease?
Okay, good. So in the UK, there is approximately 70 million people, between 65 to 70 million people in the UK. And the Muslims make up about 5% of the population, only 5%. So you're looking at around 3 million to 4 million people approximately who are Muslim in the UK today, and that makes up about 5% of the population. But you know what, subhanallah, I have to say, even though the Muslims only make up 5% of the population, they have such an impact in our society. And I'll give you an example of that. We have over 1,200 masajid in this country from our elders who came in the 50s and 60s. They set up masajid all over the country. We have Islamic centers, dawah centers, Islamic schools all over the country. And even with regards to some of the positions that they hold, we've got, like, for example, we have a Muslim mayor of London, the capital city. The mayor is a Muslim, Sadiq Khan. And we have so many people in parliament, in media, in sports, who are very outwardly, visibly Muslim, but hold different key positions around the country. We need more, of course, and we need more impact, but nevertheless, and I'll give you another example. Even though we're only 5% of the population, imagine this, Brother Fadhli, yeah? Yep. Every Ramadan, the Muslims, and it was in the national newspaper. The Muslims, they did some research and they said that the Muslims are the most generous people out of all the community groups in the UK. the most generous when it comes to charity. And in Ramadan alone, imagine, we give approximately 100 million pounds in charity just in this month of Ramadan. And that's recorded figures by the Charities Commission, by the way.
Subhanallah. You know, I also, you know, encourage my people, for those who are watching right now live, please continue. If you, this is, now we are on the 27th night, you guys have not reached there yet, you haven't break your fast,
we
right?
We had our 27th night last night.
Oh, really?
It depends when you started. We started on the Friday, so our 27th was last night. If you started on the Saturday, then your 27th is tonight.
Yeah, subhanallah. But anyway, I would like to encourage those who are watching, if you would like to support the da'wah happening in Newcastle, you can refer to the link right under me here, which is donate@supportidc.com, or you can go to paypal.me/Islamic diversity. Okay, brother Abu Tayeb, I would like to go to this slide, and this is a very powerful verse, I think, as a form of encouragement for people, and I believe this is like a motto for IDC. Maybe you can share a little bit more. What is this referred to?
Absolutely. So first of all, the Islamic Diversity Center, we cover more than just Newcastle. Newcastle is one city in the northeast, the biggest city in the northeast. We cover the whole region of the northeast of England, from Northumberland, which is just at the border of Scotland, all the way down through Newcastle, Sunderland, Durham, Teesside, up until York. So we have quite a large geographical area that we cover. And when we set up IDC, I set it up back in 2002. So we've been doing this for a long time. And the reason why I set it up was simply because after September the 11th, now I've been involved in the dawah since the 90s, but after 2001, the whole landscape changed. The whole landscape of dawah changed. And so I was getting a lot of questions from non-Muslims, my non-Muslim colleagues, work colleagues, neighbors, etc., about, does Islam really believe this? Does Islam believe that? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to, instead of me answering the question over and over again to the same people or to different people, I'm going to set up an organization, empower the community, and then as a community, we will respond to this narrative that's being pushed against us. So the ethos behind it, the foundation, was set using this ayah of the Quran. Now, every dawah organization, every da'i will use this verse.
Yes.
But the dawah, our dawah center, we used it as the foundation of our work that we do. So the ayah in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Now, we took three strands, three main points from this ayah, and we made a model, a dawah model, using three strands to our work. The first one, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ. And who is better in speech than the one who calls to Allah, the one who invites to Allah? So this is the first strand of Islamic Diversity Center. This is your direct dawah, your Islamic awareness, calling people, talking the talk, showing the beauty of Islam through evidence, showing the truth. And this is done in a number of ways. So we have regular Islamic awareness stalls in the city centers. We have education programs within schools, colleges, universities, to educate people about what the true nature of Islam is. We have exhibitions on different topics. We have open days using the local masajid to teach people, the local community, non-Muslims, about the true nature of Islam. So this is what you'd call the direct da'wah, calling people to Islam using the first part of this ayah. So that's the first strand to our work. The second strand to our work is وَعَمَلَ صَالِحًا, and doing good deeds or doing righteousness. So this is our social programs, doing the social activities in the community, which are led by, pioneered by the Muslims, even though we're the minority. So, for example, we hold a weekly soup kitchen, street kitchen, where anyone who's homeless or vulnerable can come and get free food from us every week. And we distribute it can be anything between 70 to 100 meals every week for the homeless and those who are in need. Then we have, a monthly elderly care program where, unfortunately, in this country, there is a bit of a culture of when somebody gets old, the families usually bundle them into a care home and they're not looked after by their families necessarily. They're put into a care home, and then the complete strangers will look after them. And as a result of that, you know, many of the family members don't get to visit them often, or they don't get to visit their family members often, so they can get lonely. They can miss their family. And so what we decided to do was a program for Muslims to go there and spend some time with the elderly in the care homes, so that they know that they have some support. And really, essentially, all of these programs is indirect da'wah, you know, showing the beauty of Islam, walking the walk as well as talking the talk. Because the ayah says, وَعَمَلَ صَالِحًا, and you'll find this in the Quran, throughout the Quran, you'll find this. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Iman, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, whenever he talks about anything which is related to Iman, he will always use, or usually he will link it with doing good deeds, doing righteous deeds. So as believers, we're using these projects to show Islam in action, right? Dawah in action, as I call it. So we have other programs like neighborhood cleanup programs. We have we go and visit the sick children in hospital on the day of Eid and give them all gifts and presents. My point is that, you know, we're walking the walk as well as talking the talk. So they both go hand in hand. And the beautiful thing is Muslims are taking lead on this. So up and down the country, we're finding Muslims do this, showing through our actions the beautiful nature of Islam. And the third strand to our work is empowerment, so that we can show, indeed, I am from the Muslims. We can be proud to say with izzah, with honor, that we are from the Muslims. And the idea is, the third strand is the new Muslim support. So that means when people do take their shahada with us, we're taking them on a safe journey through Islam. We're not just taking their shahada and leaving them. We're not just teaching them the salah and leaving them to it. No, we're taking them on a journey. So they will learn the salah, they will learn basic aqidah, they will learn how to be integrated into the community, introduced to the masajid, and so on and so forth. And then get them on their path of knowledge as well, to strengthen their iman. And so that essentially what we want every single new Muslim to say is, indeed, I am from the Muslims. Being proud to say that, and not hide their Islam necessarily. Because unfortunately, in this day and age, many new Muslims have to hide their Islam. But what we're trying to do is empower them so that they have a sense of izzah, to be very strong in their identity. So that's the three-strand model that we have. Number one, the direct da'wah, Islamic awareness, calling people directly to Allah and clarifying the many misconceptions that there are about Islam and Muslims. Number two, amal salih, so that we are doing good righteous deeds through our social programs. And number three, new Muslim support, giving a safe journey from any form of extremes, being too liberal on the one side and weaken their Islam, and being going overboard and being extreme, violently extreme on the other side. We're trying to give them a balance so that they can be confident in their Islam and give them that safe journey through that. And that's our three-step model.
MashaAllah, that's amazing, yeah. Just now you mentioned about you have been doing dawah since the 90s, yeah. So subhanallah, that's way back, yeah, way back. And alhamdulillah, I felt blessed when I got the chance to actually learn from you when we were in UK. I was in UK, yeah, I was in London. Subhanallah, I've learned a lot from you, especially when it comes to, you know, how to handle or take care of new Muslims based on the step-by-step course that IRA has. Subhanallah, I saw this amazing picture that you have put here. But before that, let me just like to inform those who are watching, please continue to share this video, leave a comment. If you have any questions that you would like to ask during the live show, please do so. And I have a link here for those who like to support the works of IDC, as what Brother Abu Tayeb has mentioned. You like what you hear, you want to continue to help the Muslims in UK, you can click on the link below, inshallah. Okay, all right, so moving forward, I saw this beautiful photo that I think you can give some, tell us a little bit more what's happening here.
So basically, one of the things that we organize as part of our Islamic awareness is we have an education, a whole education department, which deals with schools, and we go into the different schools, primary and secondary school, and then we have the opportunity to teach the young children about Islam. All majority are non-Muslim schools. So we have the opportunity to teach them about Islam. And the purpose behind that is so that we can deal with the Islamophobia problem, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in a short while as well. Because we want to teach the next generation that to humanize Islam, if you like, or humanize Muslims, and show that Islam is very much a part and parcel of UK society, that the Muslims have been here since the 1800s and we're not going anywhere. We're a part of the community here, and we have a stake in that. So we're teaching the young people away from hatred from a young age, to say just because somebody's different doesn't mean that that's bad. That can be a good thing, and come and learn about what we have. And one of the ways in which we do that is not only going to the schools itself and teaching this in assemblies and workshops, but we also invite them to the masjid as well. So we organize mosque visits for the students, the parents, the teachers. And I'll tell you a very interesting story, bro, yeah? So this, with regards to a mosque visit, we had a request from a school, which was, the only way I could describe it is, it was a very white, non-Muslim town, right? There was no Muslims in that town. So the teachers, they were hearing some things from some of the students and the parents as well, actually, very Islamophobic statements, anti-Muslim statements. So they decided to organize a mosque visit. Now, the nearest mosque was this masjid here in Middlesbrough, which is about an hour drive away, 1 hour drive. So they said, can we bring our whole school to come and do a mosque visit? Because we've never been to a mosque before. I said, yeah, we could do that. The imam contacted us. He was freaking out. He was like, I can't handle a whole school on my own, yeah? Can you help me, please? Yeah. So it was like, yeah, definitely. So we structured it over 3 days, right? Over 3 days. So we brought in 2-year groups at a time. And we said to the school, let the teachers come, let the students come, even invite the parents. And the reason why I said that was because the teachers, when they came on the first day, some of the students weren't allowed to come. The parents stopped their children from coming to the masjid. And you know what they said? They said, we ain't going to let our children go to the masjid. Why? Because they might get blown up. If they go there. They might never come back. Or they might be forced to convert, and then we can't do nothing about that. Or, you know, they came out with all this crazy stuff. So I said to the imam, I said, don't worry, let them come for the first day. We'll show them such a good time that the kids will go back and tell the other kids that couldn't come, and then they will say, you know, they will do the work for us, right? So they came the first day, and the way we do a mosque visit is very, we have a principle, we have a structure here. What we say is, any non-Muslim that comes to the masjid, they should feel so comfortable in the house of Allah. They should get the most warmest welcome that they get. They should feel so good about themselves being in the masjid that they don't want to leave the masjid, right? So we had different games for the kids. You heard the game Simon Says, right?
Yes. I know that game.
Right? Simon Says, yeah? So we made an adapted version called Abdullah Says, right? Okay. We got the kids playing Abdullah Says, and then we did them give them a mosque tour. We give them a little bit of knowledge. The teachers we took into a separate room, and we did a session with the teachers, a myth-busting session. We said, look, ask any question you want, anything you want to ask us about Islam. And they're asking, you know, the usual stuff, terrorism, misogyny, the hijab, this, that. And we clarified one by one, clarified all of their questions. And you know what? By the end of the first day, the teachers were so impressed. The kids were buzzing. They were jumping up and down. They said, we don't want to go. We loved it here. They went back. And the next day, all the kids that couldn't come on the first day, in the morning before the bus left, they were crying to the teachers, we want to come. We're not gonna stay in the school. And the teachers have to literally phone the parents and say, look, your son, your daughter is crying. We can't get them to stop crying because they want to come. And the parents have said, okay, we can send them, but we have to come as well. And I said, yeah, bring the parents. So we brought the parents as well, did the same thing on day 2. Abdullah Says, tour of the masjid, taught them about Islam, had lots of food and drinks and sweets, took the parents and the teachers in the other room, had a good myth-busting session, and the parents were so overwhelmed. Wallahi, this is the truth, Brother Fadhli, yeah? When it was home time, one of the after all the kids had got into the bus, one of the parents came running back upstairs to the masjid and was crying and was saying, I want to apologize to you all because I was one of the parents who stopped my children from coming. And now I realized I was wrong. And Islam is a beautiful religion and the Muslim community are beautiful people. Right? She changed her whole outlook on Islam, right? And then the third day was even better than that. And it was, you know, the whole trip, the whole school, imagine that, literally the whole school, from the students to the teachers to the parents, all came to this mosque visit and left with completely different viewpoints about Islam, having negative viewpoints to becoming positive towards Islam. And that's one of the things that we organize at the Islamic Diversity Center, to change the perceptions that people have about Islam and Muslims.
Subhanallah, this is really incredible and fantastic, I believe. We should actually adopt to welcome non-Muslims to our masajid, for the reason being that masajids are actually the best place or the best platform for us to share the message of Islam. And based on what you have explained, we can see how impactful through a mosque visit can change the perception or the misconceptions that they may have towards our beautiful deen. Subhanallah, Brother Abu Tayeb, I really, for those who are watching right now, we strongly encourage, if you're living in Malaysia or Indonesia or Singapore, or you are living in Brunei, you should open up your mosque in order for non-Muslims to come and pay a visit. And Subhanallah, Brother Abu Tayeb, maybe I can share a little bit about how I started my da'wah. I actually started a mosque tour, back when I was in Singapore. So I've learned how to do da'wah when I start talking to non-Muslims who visited the mosque. So during those time, I don't really have a good income, to be honest. So what I did was I have to walk like every time I have to go for my mosque tour session, so-called voluntary service. I have to walk for like 3 to 4 kilometers just to go, because I couldn't afford my bus fare. Subhanallah. So mashallah, but I took the time and I took the effort to go, because I really want to learn how to share this message of Islam with others. And alhamdulillah, actually I realized that when we give da'wah to other people, we are actually also improving our iman when we start to look for answers that people ask about our deen. It's just like someone, if for example, someone comes to you and asks about, oh, can you tell me a bit more about your mom? You cannot be saying that, oh, I do not know anything about my mom. So I have to go back and try to find something about what you want to share about your mom. Something like this. And subhanallah, I 100% agree, Brother Abu Tayeb, and mashallah, may Allah reward you and your team for that effort that you have made to change people's mind. And also every single one person, irregardless who they are, if we can manage to remove the misconceptions, that is actually also da'wah. So subhanallah, moving forward, Brother Abu Tayeb, I saw this beautiful picture, and let me just tell you that when I saw this picture for the first time, that was about 6 or 7 years ago. It's about 5 to 6 years ago. I was shocked. I said, why are these people dressed up in these Marvel suits, or these superhero suits, and they're going to hospitals? They are making children smile. Maybe you can share a little bit more with us about what actually was the idea behind this.
So as I mentioned, the second strand to our work is walking the walk, right? So showing Islam and humanizing Muslims in the community, right? So one of the things that we know is from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that he encouraged people to go and visit the sick. Yes, so this is from the Prophet ﷺ is one of his advices to humanity, to the Muslims in particular, to go and visit the sick. So what we decided to do was, as part of our social programs, was to organize a regular hospital visit so that we can support those and encourage those and motivate those, because it's obviously a sad time when you're in hospital, especially if you're a child. So he said, you know what, let's go and visit the children's hospital. When we're there, we can then go and give them a bit of encouragement. We bought loads of gifts and we wrapped it all up. And the day that we chose to go on was the day of Eid, our day of celebration. So we go to Eid Salah in the morning. We do the Eid Salah, spend some time with our families, and then we go to the hospital to give these gifts to all of the. Excuse me. We give somebody's phone ringing.
Whose phone is that?
I don't know whose phone that is. So we go to the children's hospital to give the gifts for free, and at the same time we see a smile on the child's face. But we used to give dawah to the parents. Yeah. So the parents that are there, they were so happy to receive it from us because we took the time out on our day of celebration to go and give free gifts to all the children in the hospital to make them smile, give them something to smile about.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. I think this is a beautiful effort that what you mentioned earlier is about empowering people to show kindness towards others. And MashaAllah, Assalamu alaikum. We have our brother.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. How you doing? How you doing, brothers?
It's good to have you here, brother.
Alhamdulillah, yeah, apologies, I'm a bit late, but alhamdulillah, I had to definitely come on. But touching upon what Abu Tayeb was speaking about there, myself, I've actually done that activity on Eid. Alhamdulillah, we pray the Eid Salah, then we go to the hospitals, and give out these gifts to the children. And it's something that's quite small. It's only a few hours of our day, but you really see that the children really enjoy it. Imagine it, subhanAllah, they're sick in the hospital. Their parents are worried. Their parents are stressed. Then, alhamdulillah, we come in, we give gifts. Sometimes we dress up, and it really brings life to the hospital. And many of the parents' faces, you see them feel happy. That their children, there's a bit of an enjoyment. There's something's happening. And one thing that's really amazing is the nurses and the doctors. They really respect what we do, and they're really grateful. Because sadly, many people don't do this. Many people don't go into the hospitals. They don't go and spend time with the sick children. So when they see the Muslim community doing that, it really changes perspectives. Because in those hospitals, you're going to reach people that maybe you may not reach out on the normal streets. You may not meet in the city centre. You're going to meet new groups of people and change their perspectives of Islam. So alhamdulillah, it's something really amazing and something that I've always enjoyed doing every single year.
MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair. We have a comment here from, I believe it's a sister and a brother who says that Barakallahu fiqh, brothers, for all the great effort. May Allah Azza wa Jalla grant you paradise. Ameen.
Ameen. Also, I want to say that to the brother and sister who made this comment, may Allah accept your dua. And as we know, the Prophet said, when you make dua for somebody, then the angels make dua back for you, or Allah accepts the dua back for you as well. And I want to just highlight something that, it's not just the situation where da'wah is a responsibility for a select few. Everybody should be involved in these good works and good actions, and it's easy to do. Everybody can do it. And even if you can't, you can still support those people who are doing, like Islamic Diversity Center. You will, if you support the Islamic Diversity Center with your dua, with finances, with some donations, then understand this. Now you will get a portion of the reward for all of the good deeds that are being done without diminishing the reward for anyone who's doing it. So you get a portion of that. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. So we are always in need for support from the community to allow us to continue to do these types of work.
Inshallah. So if I can just give a shout out in bahasa, ya. So kepada tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang sedang menonton sekarang, kalau sekiranya ada kelebihan, bolehlah sumbang terus ke akaun yang tertera di skrin sekarang, iaitu donate@supportidc.com ataupun pergi ke paypal.me/islamicdiversity, di mana sahabat-sahabat kita di UK, mereka sedang berusaha untuk membantu Muslim di sana dan juga membantu non-Muslim untuk lebih faham tentang agama Islam itu sendiri. Okay, baik. Okay, before I go to the next slide, I would just like to, inform everyone that are watching right now, subhanallah, our brother Richard, he has an amazing reversion story, or conversion story, where he got involved, or he became a Muslim about 8 years ago, and he was part of the new Muslim program, learning about Islam. but today he is a new Muslim, head of new Muslims. Subhanallah, he's the one now, those new Muslims, yeah. And Alhamdulillah, by the mercy of Allah, I managed to get a chance to be with Brother Richard, and I can see how dedicated, how enthusiastic he is, especially when educating new Muslims. Subhanallah. So, Brother Richard, maybe you can share a little bit. Why do you think that supporting new Muslims is most important when it comes to Islam?
I think, brothers and sisters, that many of us need to realize that, you know, imagine that you change your entire religion, your entire lifestyle, your entire perspective on life. SubhanAllah, it can be very difficult and hard. I know myself, you know, alhamdulillah, I became Muslim with the brothers at IDC, and I had to change a lot of things about my life, a lot of things that I eat, a lot of things that I do, and having to learn an entire new religion, you know, Arabic, the prayer, it can seem very daunting and scary and difficult. And that's why these brothers and sisters, they really need the support. They need people to, as soon as they take the Shahada, as soon as they start practicing the faith, to sort of help them step by step and give them guidance and a pathway so they can really grow. So, for example, myself, alhamdulillah, the brothers at the IDC took my Shahada, made me feel welcome, and then started teaching me the basics, you know, teaching me about the prayer, how to do the salah, teach me about the basic belief in Allah, the belief in the prophets, belief in the messengers, until I slowly grew. Bit by bit with time, I grew till I was confident in my prayer, till I was confident in my knowledge. And then I wanted to get involved because I was empowered, I was confident. So then I started helping other new Muslims, offering advice, teaching them the basics. Till alhamdulillah, slowly over the years, you know, now, you know, the head in Newcastle, you know, teaching other brothers, leading classes. And alhamdulillah, you see the transformation, brothers. Many brothers and sisters that I know who weren't Muslim, they became Muslim. And now out there, alhamdulillah, they're out there spreading the message. They're teaching Arabic lessons. They're spreading beneficial knowledge. And you can see the transformation in their lives. Many of them getting married, having families. But the reality is, if they didn't get that support at the beginning, if they didn't have that brotherhood, the sisterhood, and that person, you know, trying to teach them slowly, simply, in a way that's not confusing or scary, then I don't think they would have progressed as much. And that's why new Muslim support is so important, because they're like a newborn baby. There's so much they need to learn, but they need to learn in a gradual process, in a way that people can relate to and understand.
Alhamdulillah. I also would like to just pause a while here. I would like to also encourage those who are watching right now to continue to follow the program that they have during this Ramadan, where they have daily live show, or in their channel called Fast FM, where Brother Abu Tayeb and also Brother Richard Coupland is hosting different guests and sharing different topics that have a lot of in regards to the Muslim interests. So they have a special guest on board every time on different sessions. So I will encourage people who are watching here to also follow their program, inshallah. Okay, brothers, coming back to our topic for tonight, which is challenges of a Muslim in i.e. Islamophobia in UK. Yeah, I saw this photo, and when I see the photo, I become worried and scared. Yeah, I believe those who are watching right now also may think that, oh, subhanallah, if I have this article on my newspaper, in my local newspaper, I just do not know how to respond. So I need your advice, brothers, like Brother Abu Tayeb first, then maybe Brother Richard, you can add on to it, inshallah, that how do you tackle this type of situation being a Muslim in UK?
Well, you know, unfortunately, it's wider than just the UK. I think it's a global issue that we're starting to see certainly since 2001. You know, we've been going through 20 years of being in the spotlight, as being seen as the bad guys, if you like, right? Yeah. It's not just something in, you know, most people that I speak to, we see it on the continent of Europe, we see it in different parts of the world, but the UK specifically, we've seen, you know, a concerted effort by mainstream politicians, by the mainstream media. The mainstream media has a lot to answer for in terms of the way that Muslims are perceived. And this is the point here. There's a perception that has been created about Islam and Muslims and the way that we are, the narrative that's being pushed, right? So a lot of people will have negative views about Islam because most people don't study Islam or don't want to or don't really know what Islam is. So all they will go by is what the media tells them about Islam and Muslims. So unfortunately, part of the problem is there, but the other part of the problem, unfortunately, is with ourselves as a community. And this is why I genuinely believe that the dawah is so important for Muslims to be involved in a holistic way, not just speaking and talking, but acting and behaving in a certain way that Islam encourages us to behave in order to change that perception. Because think about it from this point of view, brothers, right? If you've got somebody who doesn't know what Islam is, and they're constantly being fed on the TV, on the media, negative impressions of Islam and Muslims, they're only gonna, you can't blame them for having those views necessarily. But then on the same time, when you have somebody who has interactions with Muslims, and you have this is what it's about, building good relationships, right? If you have a good relationship with somebody, then no matter what they see on the media, no matter what they see on the TV screen, they will say, well, actually, Muhammad down the street, he's not like that. He's always been good to me. So the physical relationship, the interaction that somebody has is always going to be far more powerful than what people are beaming on a TV screen, right? So, or what they read in a newspaper. So that's why it's so important that we as a community are more active and engaged in showing the true nature of Islam. And that's why we did a lot of our social programs. That's why we do a lot of our exhibitions and talks. We will talk about the stuff that needs to be talked about, you know. So we don't shy away from that, because if you look at the next few slides as well, Brother Fadhli, yeah, we've got the increase in the far right groups who are calling for a closure of mosques, who are calling for stopping Muslim immigration, who are calling for, you know, all sorts of things, right? And then what does that do to a person? When you have this much hatred, that's only going to escalate unless you do something about it. So if you look at the next slide, we've had a number of our sisters who have been attacked on the streets in the UK because they're visibly Muslim. They have the hijab, they may have niqab, and they'll be attacked on the street. So the next two slides, you will see a number of headlines. This is in the Northeast alone, by the way. A racist who attacks a young Muslim woman in a supermarket. Imagine that. You have a Muslim woman who is terrorized or called a terrorist in another supermarket. You have non-Muslims who are abusing Muslims on public transport. Okay, so yeah, these things are unfortunate and they happen. That's very, very true, and it's very sad that these things happen. But at the same time, we have to recognize that there is a responsibility in order to change this. We can sit there and be really negative about it and say, oh yeah, look how bad the world is, look how bad the UK is, and do nothing about it apart from moan and whinge. Or we can actually do something about it, which is what we did. We took the opportunity to say, okay, if that's the case, if that's what people are seeing, then we have a responsibility to undo that. Hence the school visits, the mosque visits, the education programs, the open days, the exhibitions, the social programs, because we want to show Islam in practice and show them that actually Islam is something which is beautiful and great. And then if you go to the next slide, what we did was we tackled these issues head on, right? So we looked at, okay, what is the biggest thing, the fear factor that they have? They think that Muslims are extremists. Okay, let's talk about that then. So we organized an open event after this is the first one we did in July, and we just dealt with the issues that people had on their mind. If you go to the next one, there was a big issue around sexual grooming, right? That unfortunately many Asians in particular were involved in, the high profile cases. So we said, okay, let's talk about these things. Is it a Muslim monopoly, or is it a societal problem? Are these Muslims who are involved in extremism and sexual grooming, are they doing it because of Islam, or are they doing it because of a particular ideology that they might have, or a political agenda that they have, or just basically because they're selfish, right? And is it only for Muslims? And we went through and gave loads of examples of non-Muslims who are involved in extremism, non-Muslims who are involved in sexual grooming and pedophilia and some of the more disgusting types of sexual abuse. It's not a Muslim monopoly. That was the point. Yes, some Muslims are bad apples, but you can't hold the whole religion and the whole Muslim community responsible for what a minority does. And I turn it on its head. I say, okay, is it fair for me to say that, you know, all white people are pedophiles?
No, obviously no.
Of course not.
No.
But I say the vast majority of pedophiles in the UK are white. And the vast majority of pedophiles who go across to Asia and Africa and from the UK, who go over to Asia and Africa, like Gary Glitter, for example, was caught in Thailand sexually abusing young children, young boys. And I said, so would it be fair for me to say that all English people are like this? And of course, they're going to say no. And I said, the same way, you can't hold all Muslims responsible for what a few people do. We turn it on its head. We have those conversations, and we don't shy away from those conversations. And that's the important point. We have enough confidence, we have enough knowledge, we have enough sincerity, we have enough trained people to go out there and talk to the likes of the EDL, the English Defence League, talk to the likes of those who are being influenced by the far right, and say, let's have a conversation about this. We don't need hatred. Let's educate ourselves, and let's dispel some of those myths. And that's what we found to be very, very practical and impactful as well. We found a lot of good success stories from this as well. And one quick success story is the head of the EDL of Newcastle. He came to one of our events on sexual grooming, the poster you just saw there. He brought about 14 EDL members with him. And we allowed them to come, listen. He was asking so many questions, and we patiently answered all the questions. And you know what? Within a matter of weeks, I'm not joking, within a matter of weeks, he stepped down of being the head of EDL.
Oh, wow. That's amazing achievement. Yes, subhanallah.
He changed his whole perception about Islam and Muslims and said, actually, I got it wrong.
Oh, wow. That's an amazing story to know. Yeah. You see, I think through explanation, through discussion, we can actually change things. Yes, subhanallah. That's something amazing. I also saw that you have, in IDC, you have some amazing initiatives where you do some community outreach. Like, for example, that you have this program like Muslims Be Positive and Give Blood. Maybe we can get Brother Richard to comment a little bit what is happening here.
Yes, alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, one thing what we found out from the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, is that certain groups of people, black and ethnic minorities, such as the Pakistanis, Bengalis, that the NHS had limited blood types for them. And we realized, okay, this is an amazing initiative that we can do in the Muslim community, is to really encourage the Muslim community to donate blood. So what we were doing, we were going to various masjids, organizations, and encouraging our brothers and sisters to donate blood. Because subhanAllah, imagine you donate some of your blood and it goes to save a life. SubhanAllah, you'd get the reward of saving somebody's life, or it goes to help somebody in a difficult situation in the hospital. It would change people's lives. So we'd encourage the people to donate blood. We'd work alongside the NHS and different organizations to arrange donation points where Muslims could come and donate their blood. And alhamdulillah, as you can see, we're on BBC News there, on different news stations. The press, they would come, they would record, and they would see that the work that we're doing. And the point was to highlight to people that Muslims are part of the community as well. And we really want to give back. We really want to help other people. So as you can see in the picture, many different brothers there. Alhamdulillah, they donated the blood. It benefited people. Alhamdulillah, the NHS and BBC, they did like reports on it, and they saw the work that we were doing. And this is what it is, ideas that are not necessarily you would think of, but alhamdulillah, the Muslim community can really get involved and benefit people with.
I just want to add something to that as well. The beautiful thing about these projects is that it's not just Muslims involved. We've managed to inspire non-Muslims also to join us on these programs.
Wow.
And the beautiful thing about that is Muslims are leading on these projects, pioneering these projects, but also non-Muslims have the opportunity to learn about Islam when they get involved with us. So they learn about, okay, this is a good project. It's a humanitarian project. We want to help you guys. Oh, by the way, while we're doing this, they will ask questions. Oh, by the way, why do you have a beard? Why do you keep the hijab? What does your religion say about this? What is, the teaching? So it's an opportunity again to have some of those conversations about breaking down those barriers.
Alhamdulillah. I think through this community outreach also is something very impactful, especially like, when we help others, eventually, people get to see the beauty of Islam. And this is also a form of da'wah, I should say. And also it opens up people's mind that, if these people are really bad, they won't come forward and do all these kind acts of kindness, obviously, right? So, subhanAllah, before we go to our next slide, I'd just like to call out for those people who are watching, who like to follow the activities of Islamic Diversity Center. You can always look up to their Facebook, their Instagram, and you can also follow our brother Abu Tayeb. You can see his name displayed on the screen, and also our brother Richard Coupland. If you would like to ask anything about UK da'wah, especially, you can always be in touch with them, because we understand that the people who are watching right now, subhanAllah, they might be coming from Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, or even Indonesia, that they have many, maybe they may have some relatives or people that they know who are living in UK who may be struggling at the same time, struggling, it's a really something that is a culture shock. Sometimes when you come from a majority Muslim country, then you have to travel or live in a majority non-Muslim country. And eventually, sometimes for them, they struggle to practice the deen. So I really encourage brothers and sisters who are watching, please follow Islamic Diversity Center, where you can get information, inshallah, on how to still practice the deen in a majority non-Muslim country. Okay, I just like to highlight this next slide about the achievements of Islamic diversity. I would like both of you maybe to share. These are the key highlights that have happened for the year 2019.
Yeah, I mean, this is 2019's statistics, bearing in mind that this is just a snapshot of some of the work that we've been doing in the Northeast. So, for example, like I said, we split into 3 different categories. The Islamic awareness, we try to have as many conversations as possible out on the streets with individuals, because we believe connecting on an individual level has the biggest impact. Like I mentioned earlier, we want to try and build relationships with people. We want to try and have interaction with as many people as we can, meaningful interactions, so that we can change people's lives and change people's perceptions. And we also have a policy of giving as many Qur'ans out as possible. I don't necessarily believe in giving them as and when, but rather giving them to people who are genuinely going to read them, right? And this is the first bit for the Islamic awareness. The education also, we do a number of school workshops, mosque visits. In total, imagine, nearly 4,000 students have attended our workshops over 2019. Almost 4,000 people have been educated about Islam in schools, colleges, universities, right? And this is important. So that's the education side of things. And of course, with the social programs, the events also, we do a number of events, and we normally try to make it thematic. So, for example, Black History Month, we always try and hold some form of Islam and Black history program to show the connection that there is. Islam has a very strong influence on Black history also. And then the social programs, if you imagine, we've nearly distributed 2,000 meals to the homeless, to the vulnerable throughout 2019. So it just shows you that there's a whole diversity of work that's been done. And we're not talking small numbers. And we're on a shoestring budget as well, I have to say. I'll let Richard talk about the New Muslims, because he's head of New Muslim support, and talk about some of the statistics and some of the programs that are involved in there. But it gives you an idea of the type of work that we're doing, hard work on the ground, for very little money that we receive.
Subhanallah. So, Brother Richard, maybe you can highlight what are the struggles that you have in dealing with new Muslims, especially when we see the figures here that, 155 attended social activities, you have 44 attended new Muslim classes. Is even living in a majority Muslim country, we sometimes also it's hard for us to get this type of figures. Maybe you can share from the perspective in UK, how did you manage to get these figures, and how people can continue to support this?
one thing is that with the new Muslim support, it's generally three main areas. So one of the main areas is education. So alhamdulillah, that's us putting weekly classes on, inviting them to the Ayah retreat and doing various things. The second aspect is social activities, people where they can meet other Muslims and meet the Muslim community. The third area is mentoring. Alhamdulillah, sometimes it's difficult to get people to come to lessons, to come to classes, but it's all about building that brotherhood and building that sisterhood where people, they want to come to the lessons. With many of lessons Brother Abu Tayeb has done, the people, we come to a lesson, alhamdulillah, we benefit from the knowledge, but everybody has to maybe bring a dish of food to the lesson, or we all have food afterwards. And these sort of things encourage people to get involved and want to come to the lessons. So alhamdulillah, the new Muslims, they're going to cook a dish, they're going to come to the lesson, benefit from the knowledge, and then we'll sit and we'll talk and we'll socialize with different people. And that really encourages people to come because they want to gain knowledge, but then benefit and spend time with people. So things like that really encourage people to attend.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, bro. I really encourage those people who are watching right now, continue to support the brothers and sisters in Newcastle with their efforts to help you to be, they are helping you actually, because this is a responsibility of the Ummah, I believe, yeah? Where we have to call people to Islam, show goodness, support the new Muslim, and so on and so forth. Moving on to the next slide, you have these details. Maybe Brother Abu Tayeb, you can share how people can support you and also, be part of your organization, inshallah.
Yeah, so if you're in the Newcastle area or anywhere in the northeast of England, then reach out to us. It's very, very important that you reach out to us. We can support you. We can help you. We can get you involved in volunteering for the dawah. We can train you up. We can just, even if it's just for brotherhood and sisterhood, we have a very diverse group of members in our team, both brothers, sisters of different ethnicities and backgrounds. If you want to support our work, then my advice is to go to supportidc.com if you want to make a one-off donation. If you want to become an IDC supporter, and then you can give a regular donation to idcsupporter.com. If you want us to help continue this da'wah and new Muslim support, then I highly recommend you go to the website islamicdiversity.org. If you want our bank details, then I'm sure you could reach out to Fadhli if you want to make a bank transfer, if the above options don't work for you, or if PayPal doesn't work for you. If you go to the website islamicdiversity.org and then click on the donate button, scroll down, and to the right you will see our bank details as well. So you'll have the opportunity to give and support us. And like I said, your wealth will not decrease by supporting the da'wah. If you give this in sadaqah jariyah, in sadaqah, it'll be a sadaqah jariyah for you. Means it will continue every single month. And now I want you to imagine this. And your zakat is applicable here as well. Okay? And the zakat money, when we take it, we use it specifically on our new Muslim programs. Okay? Under the category of to reconcile their hearts with Islam. So I want you to consider this, and I'm going to give you a quick story to finish off on, right?
Inshallah.
If you imagine you donated towards IDC today, and tomorrow, with the efforts and work that the team have been doing, somebody becomes Muslim. Just imagine this. Somebody takes their shahada at the hands of a member of IDC by Allah's permission. Imagine the rewards that you're going to get for every single salah that person does, every single good deed that person does, every bit of charity that person gives. You will get a portion of that reward without diminishing that person's rewards. Now imagine further now. That person gets married to a Muslim, or their partner becomes Muslim, and he raises his children up in Islam. Now you've got 2 generations of Muslims because you helped towards supporting that cause. And then now imagine that person gives da'wah to his father, his parents, and his parents become Muslim. Now you've got 3 generations of Muslims. The grandparents, so the parents, himself, and his children. And imagine he gives da'wah to his brothers and sisters, and they become Muslim. Now you've got a whole family who has become Muslim. And then now imagine he gives da'wah to his grandfather, and his grandfather becomes Muslim. You've got now 4 generations of Muslims in one family because of the action that you did. And this is not far-fetched, brothers and sisters. I'll tell you, this really happened in South Shields in the northeast of England. One of our supporters, one of our brothers who is dear to us, one of the people who we've been supporting and has been supporting us actually in Dawah, that's exactly what happened to his son. His son became Muslim. He became Muslim. His wife became Muslim. His grandfather became Muslim. And his son had children who are Muslim, raised as Muslims. A whole family, white, revert, convert family, English in the UK, in Newcastle, in the northeast of England.
Subhanallah.
Imagine you turn up on the Day of Judgment with so many rewards stacked up and you have no idea where those rewards came from. This is where those rewards could come from. So I encourage you to donate.
Yeah. To my brothers and sisters, kepada saudari-saudara yang sedang menonton sekarang, insyaAllah ada link di bawah Richard Coupland, iaitu donate@supportidc.com ataupun paypal.me/Islamic Diversity. Bolehlah sumbangkan dan bantulah sahabat-sahabat kita di UK. Mudah-mudahan donasi yang kecil yang anda berikan kepada usaha ini dapat berkah daripada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala dan dilipat kali gandakan memandangkan kita dalam bulan Ramadan dan juga di dalam 10 malam yang terakhir. Saya sangat menggalakkan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, tetapi sekiranya link di bawah tidak boleh digunakan, bolehlah hubungi page saya iaitu Fadhli Burhan. InsyaAllah apa yang saya kumpulkan akan saya salurkan kembali kepada mereka insyaAllah untuk memudahkan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan menyumbang untuk usaha ini. Okay, brother Abu Tayeb and also brother Richard, jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you for coming and sharing with us these amazing stories and inspiring us to continue to do this work of da'wah. I make dua to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. May Allah bless you both and accept the ibadah, accept the works that you are doing up north in Newcastle, and may Allah bless your family. And for those who are watching right now, may Allah bless you and may Allah make you steadfast upon the deen, and inshallah may Allah unite us all in Jannatul Firdaus. So once again, brother, thank you so much for coming on board. Inshallah, I'll see you soon again. And if it's possible, please come and visit me in Malaysia, because I believe people would like to hear the stories from Richard Coupland, how he had his journey of becoming a Muslim. Obviously, I believe that the du'ats here will also like to learn from brother Abu Tayeb the techniques of how to deliver the message of Islam. Okay, brothers, signing off. Inshallah, I see you soon. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, Alhamdulillah kita telah pun tamat sesi ini bersama 2 orang sahabat saya iaitu brother Abu Tayeb, KhairDeen dan juga Richard Coupland, merupakan 2 pendakwa yang hebat di Newcastle. Mereka banyak menganjurkan program-program untuk menyampaikan Islam dan dalam masa yang sama juga mereka membantu orang bukan Islam untuk lebih memahami tentang Islam daripada segi clearing the misconceptions. Dan bagaimana tadi kita telah dengar bagaimana mereka telah menjawab cabaran iaitu daripada Islamophobia dan macam mana mereka menyelesaikan masalah itu malah selepas mereka kongsikan keindahan Islam kalangan mereka juga yang telah berubah persepsi mereka tentang Islam, dan mudah-mudahan kita doakan semoga usaha mereka ini terus berlanjutan. Dan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang sedang menonton, silalah share video ini. Mudah-mudahan sahabat-sahabat yang mungkin tak sempat untuk tonton live show pada malam ini, sebab kita tahu sekarang pun dah masuk pukul 12.30 malam. Jadi share lah video ini, mudah-mudahan besok siapa bangun pagi boleh juga dapat manfaat daripada dia. Dan mana tahu ada orang yang menonton video ini, mereka membuat satu donasi ataupun menyumbang kepada mereka, anda juga akan dapat ganjarannya insya-Allah. Jadi daripada saya Fadhli Burhan, sekiranya ada salah ataupun silap daripada penyampaian kami, mohon maaf, dan saya doakan semoga Allah menerima amal ibadat kita semua insya-Allah. Daripada saya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.